Din's Legacy is an action RPG by Soldak Entertainment. Each world is procedural and has unique objectives. Hordes of enemies must be defeated to ensure the safety of the town you inhabit and the NPCs that reside there. The story of Din's Legacy is limited. A hint box early on informs you that your character is from a group of mutants that are being shunned by society. The only way to gain the trust of the unmutated masses is to accomplish heroic deeds and fight the tides of evil. Din, a godlike figure in the game's lore, offered to place each of the mutants in a place in need to prove their heroism. Din's Legacy isn't short on good ideas. The town you're in has NPCs that have ever-changing relationships. These relationships are affected by what you prioritise within the game's world. The game's world constantly evolves, usually through the form of enemy uprisings that take place across the map. Any choice you make will likely have an impact, and each new world has win and lose conditions that guide your actions. Despite its interesting systems, the constant overload of information and barriers of text thrown your way are quite off-putting. Grinding is an essential part of the game, as clearing specific enemies from areas is more or less a basis for all the game's quests. The combat is tedious and uninteresting. There are plenty of skills and classes to choose from, but none of the character building aspects distract from the game's flawed and undercooked combat. Loot chests are a dime a dozen and quickly create a saturating effect. Looting chests for new gear should be an eventful and rewarding experience, but chests in Din's Legacy litter areas with no rhyme or reason, resulting in an often underwhelming looting loop. The presentation is a largely dull affair. The textures and models are basic and lack any sense of unique design. A lot of the areas have an overwhelming vibrance to them, and although quite varied in appearance, come across as cluttered and lacking in concept. The lighting and particle effects leave something to be desired, and the soundtrack, which hinges on a conventional medieval sound palette, is generic and forgettable. Din's Legacy is a game with some very interesting ideas, but ultimately it fails to deliver on them or translate them into an enjoyable experience. The combat is a chore to get through, which has a huge impact on the entire game, given that it's very grind orientated. Uninviting and dull graphics also contribute to the off-putting nature of the overall experience. If you're a hardcore ARPG fan, it may be worth picking up in a sale, otherwise Din's Legacy is best avoided.